I really beat it one. I beat it several times actually, because to get to the end, you can't. I don't know. I haven't found a way to leave the. I've checked into some theory videos into what's going on. It's kind of what I've already thought. There are some details that I discovered that. One question I had about who am I playing? What character am I playing as throughout the whole game? Who's walking through the town while everyone's already gone? And someone came up with a theory that
this is Dr. Catherine Collins.
That's Kate. Kate.
I don't know if anyone will ever hear this.
Left the observatory and is checking out the aftermath of what had happened.
It's all over. I'm the only one left.
There she says, I'm the only one left. Ray Sama, have you joined the party? Negative. It's okay. The other theory was people were saying that Kate is the alien herself. I don't buy it. I think Kate was just someone who got caught up. She got caught up in what this entity really is. I tell you what, I don't think it's the Rapture. I don't think it's spiritual or holy in nature. I think that because throughout the game you hear how Kate and Steven are claiming responsibility for this all happening as a result of their experiments, their scientific experiments.
I'm going to continue to broadcast for as long as I am able. If I'm right, you should be able to pick up the signal right across the valley.
This is Kate.
The event has left markers. We don't understand it yet, but we're going to keep working to try and understand it. You can use them to find what you're looking for. The answers, they're all here in the light.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Is it Beast Esker? Have you played this game already? Have you finished it? If so, what are your theories on it? Because I still have some unanswered questions. Like, if it's not Kate walking through the game during the aftermath, then who is it? Because at the end of the game, you see Kate getting taken away. So that's at the end of the game is a debatable scene, because they're thinking that you're watching Kate's final moment, like she had just circled the town, came back to the observatory, and now the first person is gone, and you're just seeing Kate in her final moment at that moment. I mean, I guess it could be her. But people were saying, well, she was the alien, and this is why I don't think she's the alien, because if she was the alien, one, you can clearly hear me walking right now. I'm taking footsteps. Now, whether that sounds like a man's footsteps or a woman's footsteps is debatable, but it's footsteps nonetheless. So if she was the alien, wouldn't she be floating around instead of walking around? Just saying. Alright, so getting ready to go down here the hill and start Jeremy.
This is a special announcement by the Emergency Measures Committee. Due to exceptional circumstances, radio and television in this area has been brought under the control of the EMC.
Beast Asker, come back. I know how to get out of the church.
1982. Keep your radio and television on at all times. Stay indoors and avoid contact with other people. Do not attempt to telephone outside your local area. Do not panic and remain civil and calm. Stay tuned to this station for updates.
Now, see, I never figured. I don't know who's giving out that broadcast. That's when you first start this game, you have no idea what the hell's going on. So you don't really take to mind that you should really be paying attention to these voices and these names whenever you can. So you don't realize that they're going to be a big part of the story in the later part of it. So I think that was Steven. So I think you first start off with Kate, then you hear Steven, I think. I'm going to hear Steven's voice again later on. I'll be able to see if I can recognize that. I'm going to try to go through this game as fast as I can, because I already did 3 videos on this, but all 3 videos combined is about 7 hours. So I'm going to see if I can get how short I can actually finish this, now that I beat it already. Here's another interesting thing. To see the memory from this light, you've got to tilt your controller to unlock something. So at first I just thought, that's gameplay. But now I'm starting to think, maybe there's a reason for that. Maybe there's something that ties into the twisting and turning for some reason. I don't know. Just thinking out of the box there.
That's why there are backup generators. Jesus, why the hell are we even discussing this?
Just don't you come running to me if you get locked in.
If we get locked in, we won't be able to come running to you, will we? You let us worry about the clever stuff, and you can concentrate on sweeping up leaves and changing light bulbs. Happy?
What a dick.
Now piss off.
That was unnecessary. Just because you're angry with me doesn't mean you have to take it out on everyone else.
Kate, can we just talk about this?
No,
True that,
Steven,
Kate.
I'm done. I just want to get out of this place, and tonight is our best chance of doing that. You prep the arrays, I'm heading up to Tower 6.
Kate. I love you. You know that, right?
Yeah, I know
That
that.
didn't sound like she was...
Come on, let's get started.
Like she really believed it. She's like, yeah, I know that. Eyes rolling. So this is the first memory in the game that you see, and you don't really know what to think of it. You don't know what to take on it. But now that I finished the game, I know exactly what it means, and I know exactly why she probably said it the way she said it. If in fact she did say it the way I think she said it, it's because the asshole cheated on her. And him saying "I love you" is kind of like yeah, right, asshole. You know. So, and now that I heard that was Steven and that was Kate that we just heard for the first time on memories. So I think it was Steven on that voice over on the cell phone or emergency broadcast. So this is the story of Jeremy the priest. And I believe that every time you enter this story, every time you see these balls of light, these entities, I believe these, since this is the aftermath already, that is Jeremy. That entity that we are seeing here is Jeremy. In the light. He's been taken already, and that's what's left over of him.
I can assume that they really are serious about this whole quarantine thing. If Mrs. Boughton wandered off that way before they closed the road, I suspect we'll never find her. Not until this whole thing blows over.
Well, it's more than a little odd. I mean, Mrs. Yordan, for goodness sake. There was no need for them to be so rude.
Well, if they are so concerned that they are willing to close off the roads, I suspect they would argue that there is every need. What is certain is that for the time being, none of us are going anywhere.
But he had a rifle, a soldier with a rifle, in Shropshire. The world's gone stark raving mad. I've a good mind to write to my MP.
You do that, Barb, and I'll personally deliver it for you. Once this blockade is removed anyway. Come on, Bob. I can't spend all day chasing pensioners around the valley. The surgery won't open itself. I need to grab some paracetamol when we get back as well. Cracking headache all of a sudden.
Oh, he dead. Yeah, that was a foreshadow of what's to come. Everyone develop. Well, I don't know if it's everyone, but most of these people develop headaches, and it's because of these entities that become part of them. And these entities are adapting to everything, and I mean everything. From the payphones to the cell phones to the radios to the power lines to the birds, the dead birds you'll see later on, and dead animals, the cows, the livestock, and then eventually the humans.
Who's that? Hello?
Kate, if you can hear this, you need to shut down the optical array. It's using the observatory as a conduit to reach us, and it's started spreading its range beyond the valley. Kate, we can't afford to let it do that. It's getting stronger. I'm going to call Clive back, and I'm going to force him to order the strike. I just don't see what other choice we have. God knows if
Can you
it'll
hear
work.
me? We need help.
Who are you? Jesus, get off the front! Get off the front! It's in the front! It's in the front.
So after finishing the game, coming back to this, I don't remember. I remember the payphone there. I just don't remember the whole conversation. But he called it an optical array. I believe that's what he called it, and that's what he wanted Kate to shut down. So that might be something I might want to Wikipedia later on. What is science fiction terms, or what is an optical array? That's what they built. That's what she has turned on, and that's what allowed this entity to come through their tower, Tower 6.
Hard on yourself. We've all had rejections.
You haven't.
Come on. We'll look at the figures, tighten up the data, and resubmit. Your core idea is sound. You just got the numbers slightly wrong.
Don't patronize me.
I'm not patronizing you. I think you are a
patronize.
patronize. Listen. I'm here, right? We're together. You and me. The alignment event tomorrow. It's yours, okay? You saw the opportunity, you ran the numbers. Even if they can't see it. I'm proud of you.
Is that supposed to make me feel better?
Steven. Look on the bright side. Around here, you're a hero. Prodigal son returns, right? I'm surprised they haven't erected a statue in your honor yet.
Oh, you can laugh all you want. But I'll bet the parish council...
Oh, Steven. You're so funny. So that was Steven, and I don't know if that was Kate or Liz. One of his girls. He's married to Kate, but Liz was his first true love, apparently. Why they didn't stick it out, I don't know. Probably missed that part. Let's go to the stars at night. Who's got the flu? Please try the 7th Whistler. We'll go back to business. Okay. Finkelstein. Somebody took their gun off the rack over there. Hey, you're not gonna let me back there? Okay, so I hear the radio. Can't go back there. I think it's in the car behind the bar. Or on this something in the car, and then there it is, the radio. So you hear 1, 2, 1, 1. That's Kate repeating the set of numbers. 'Cause they say it sounds like the American woman. The only American woman in the game is Kate. So Kate is transmitting all these broadcasts.
It makes no sense. The area we picked the pattern up from can no longer be located on the scope. That's just not possible. You can see significant changes to the quality of the ambient light in that part of the sky. It's overexposed, like a Polaroid left in direct sunlight.
Okay. So, back to the theory. I don't think Kate is the alien. I think she's just really caught up in her work. She's really fascinated. She's kind of married to her work, if nothing else, like a workaholic. And even Steven goes as far as to say that she has worlds in her mind of, it kind of sounds like he's saying like she has fascination, or she has so much imagination.
You know, they see me as an outsider here as well.
Is that supposed to make me feel any better?
I understand it's different.
With her work.
That's all I'm saying. Your lot up at Valis have never mixed with the local community. People here, they don't really understand what you do up there.
Are you trying to get me to come to your church?
It's not just about faith. It's about the
So
community.
here we have Jeremy, the
Be
priest.
involved. Be seen as part of it. One of them.
Who's this
Morning,
woman?
Father. Lovely day. Oh, hello. Mrs. Appleton, isn't it?
It's Dr. Collins.
Lady scientist.
Ah, so it's
Whatever
Kate.
heck's
Kate
the
Collins.
Father,
She doesn't like to be called Appleton for some reason.
You really think that's a community that will ever see me as one of them? I can live with them staring at me, if they just stay out of my way.
So it seems like the community has a problem with Kate. I don't know why. I haven't figured that part out yet. It's probably because, you know what? It could be this is a religious community. And I just throwing stuff out there. She's an astrologist. And here's one of her billboards here. It's the stars at night. And I don't know. I just remember this little movie called The Water Boy. And I remember his mother was telling Bobby that astrology is one of the many tools of the devil. So I don't know. Maybe they don't like her for that. I also heard that Kate is an African American. I had no idea. So I'm hoping to look out for evidence of that on my second time around to see how they've put that piece of the puzzle together. I didn't hear that before. But I don't know if that has anything to do with this community, because this is a late 1980s community, and I don't know if that, and Steven is a white male, I believe.
The magnetic field is causing disruptions to phone signals and the rest of the electrics. There are voices on the line. It's 4 a.m. Maybe everyone is up looking at the light show.
What?
The magnetic field is causing disruptions to phone signals and the rest of the electrics.
Okay.
There are voices on the line. It's 4 a.m. Maybe
There-
everyone is up looking at the light show.
Benjamin, Georgie, leave it alone. It might have fleas.
Hello, Amanda. What are they up to?
Oh, they found another dead bird. I do wish the council would clean them up.
Well, apparently they're saying it's a flu epidemic. And I gather they'll be closing the roads and stations, so they're worried enough for that.
Oh, for goodness sake.
Well, you don't mess about with the flu outbreak, I suppose. But look, I'm just saying, if you were planning on taking the kids to Wales, now might be the time to do it.
Well, thanks, Barbara. I'll have a word with Neil, see what he thinks. Now, George, Benjamin, for God's sake, leave it alone.
If I had to say anything was a puzzle, it's fixed. That's the puzzle. So it's all in your head, really. Because I've seen the theory videos on this game already, and you know, with several different people who have played it. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of creepy too. Like if you don't know anything about this, you come into the game, it's kind of creepy setting. And when you see people getting taken away by what at first you might think is the Rapture, it's kind of gripping. So here's one example of opening up a memory. Be in the right spot sometimes. There we go.
Is everything all right?
Get out of my way.
Where's Kate?
Where do you think she is?
Stephen, what's going on?
Screw Kate. It's all her fault anyway.
What's that mark on your face? Stephen! Stephen!
Okay, so Stephen is one of the main characters. He's one of the scientists. He's actually Kate's husband. And he just said, screw Kate, it's all her fault. At that point, he already knows that what's happening to the town is because of her. Or maybe not because of her, but her theories or her calculations allowed this, her science allowed this to happen. No, God, no, you can't run. I said the same thing. This thing needs a run button, but if it had a run button, you'd probably finish this game in maybe 2 hours. That was probably their reasoning behind it, making it, walking through it. I mean, I can say this: I didn't pay for this game. It was free, download PlayStation Network, so can't really complain. It's not a bad game. Yeah, exactly.
Electrical failures all over Tower 6. The light is flowing like liquid. Its sense of purpose is overwhelming. There's something in... Stephen? Stephen, is that you?
So you get all these broadcasts from Kate, and the whole time it sounds like she's in the towers, or next to Tower 6, or in Tower 6. You know, from what I can tell, she's never anywhere else but at the observatory. And then she just said, Stephen, is that you? So a lot of these, it's weird because if you think about it, a lot of these instances are kind of like the Bible. Like the Bible wasn't written in order. So too, these sequences that you see, these memories or these playbacks on the tape, they're not happening in order. Yeah, they're making them like communication devices. And she said that these entities were surrounding the tower like liquid light, and they were... Earlier, Stephen was saying that they're getting in the radio waves. You'll see stuff on the doors like this. It says, "Don't answer your phone." Watch. It says, "Do not attempt to telephone outside your local area. Do not attempt to leave. You will be detained." There's a quarantine. Everyone in the town knew that they were infected by this being, whatever it is, and people were dying, and they didn't want it to leave the town. So here's the second town map, and someone pointed something out that was kind of interesting. It says that on the map it tells you where you should go exactly in order, and someone figured that out. So, well, I can't show you, but there's letters on the left and there's numbers on the top. No, no bodies. And so you'll see some blood though. You'll see. It's funny. You'll see blood in the bath, blood bath. You'll see toilet papers in trash cans and on typewriters, and those are the symptoms of developing the tumors, and then brain hemorrhaging, bleeding out of the nose. I don't see the numbers at this. I was watching this video and she said there's numbers on the locations where you're supposed to go. Maybe it's not on this map. I see the numbers on the top, I see letters on the left, but she said there was 1 through 17. I just don't see them. Okay, moving on. We got another memory.
What about the station?
That's shut down too. So there's no way in or out of the valley. They're obviously serious about this flu thing.
Phil doesn't think it's flu at all. He said he's been practicing medicine for 30 years and he's seen plenty of flu, and he said this doesn't feel right at all.
Well, there's nothing of any use on the radio.
Sorry I'm late, everyone. Have you started?
Yes, but to be honest, there's not really that much to discuss.
There's supposed to be a hidden message on the map. It may not be on that map, though.
No one really seems to know anything, but people are definitely missing. More of them, too, not just a couple of old biddies. No one's seen the Sullivans since yesterday, and the house is just sitting there unlocked.
I just got back from the farm. All of Frank's cows died in the night. He's devastated.
Oh, man. Hasn't he had enough for 1 year? First Mary and now this.
Well, if no one's coming in to sort this mess out, we're just going to have to do it ourselves.
Yeah.
Barbara, get Phil to do a stock take on medication. Jeremy, put the word out for people to congregate at the village hall. It's best we get everyone in one place for the time being.
Good.
I'll organise supplies. We'll have a lot of hungry mouths to feed. There's plenty at the depot, but well, let's start with what's here in the village. I'll draw up a rota. Charlie, you help me with that?
Anything for you, Meg?
I'll head out into the valley and scoop up the isolated families and check in with Lizzie Graves at the camp. Now, has anyone seen or heard anything from Stephen Appleton or his wife?
I'll check that one out. Okay, so I was trying to figure out who we have here. We have Charlie, Meg, and Barb, and I think Jeremy was amongst them as well. And they're talking about how their livestock's already killing over. All right, so let me check this one out. See, this is a slightly different map. This map doesn't have the numbers or letters on the side, but I don't see any numbers at all in here. So it's probably one particular map. It may be at the beginning of the game. At the very start of the game, there was a map, and I didn't pay any attention to it. I should have. Got the store. I forgot if I can or not. Oh yeah, cool. It's weird how at the beginning you see what I believe was Liz and Steven talking at the bus station, and how Liz was praising Steven to be a town hero. The prodigal son
Meg?
returns, she's saying.
Meg, are you here?
Here, I'm in the lounge.
So here we
Empty
have
houses tonight.
Father Jeremy
Most of the village is gone now.
visiting Meg.
My head's killing me. Have you listened to the phones?
You can see the blood on the floor.
They're all dead.
There's a strange kind of static now. I think I heard numbers in it. It sounded like the American woman.
Kate, she's still alive. No one's seen her.
Is Charlie back?
Not yet, no. I'm sorry.
That's all right, Father. Listen, you go on ahead. I'll just rest here a little longer.
Sleep well.
She's going to sleep for the rest of her life. Meg's done. And you can tell just by looking at the napkins on the floor, she's been bleeding out her nose. She's already developed tumors she's already hemorrhaging. We're gonna see her last goodbye pretty soon. I had a theory about how she mentioned she heard Kate on the radio broadcasting numbers. I had this theory that why is Kate broadcasting all these numbers for one, and through the telephone and also through the radio, and you'll see on the boards on the front of these houses that they have posters saying don't answer the phones, don't use your phones, blah 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 blah. So I've started thinking that maybe Kate and before I go any further, Kate at the end of the game said something about the pattern of numbers. She said, this pattern is mine. And right before she got taken away, she disintegrated and got taken away by the Rapture, or whatever it is. I don't think it's the Rapture. I think Kate is broadcasting patterns or frequencies for certain individuals. I think somehow she figured out the frequencies of each person, and when you hear these frequencies, it infects you, and then that's when they start to develop these tumors. Because there are different patterns of numbers. There are many different patterns of numbers, and you don't really know what they mean, and you don't know why Kate is broadcasting them. And then I came up with that theory because actually reminded me what's happening here reminded me of a movie, a couple different movies actually. One of them was called The Signal. There was another movie too. It wasn't Cellular. Basically, these people would hear a signal. There was this broadcasting signal, and it wasn't something they could hear. It was kind of like a dog whistle, only a sound that only a dog could hear. And it would infect these people's minds. It would drive them crazy.
I've been recording the pattern for 3 hours, and so far have accumulated over 3 megabytes of binary data. The pattern does not, at this point, seem to be part of any recognizably closed loop, but there remains symmetry, despite the conflicts.
She's talking about the patterns again. There was another movie, I don't know what it was called, but simply by speaking certain words would trigger something in people's minds. Again, it would make them become psychotic. But it was the cool thing about it is that there was a reverse word that you could speak, but you didn't know what they were. You didn't know what the word was that would make them snap, and you didn't know what the word was that would bring them back. It was all a guessing game. So their strategy to defend themselves against that was to not speak at all. I don't think I've been down this road before. Still gotta check that house. Shepherd's Walk. That puts us here at the church.
Didn't even reach the back fence, silly old bugger.
Well, loaves and fishes we can manage, but garden design's a little...
Might I have a word?
Mrs. Boyles, of course. Meg, will you excuse us, please?
See you back at Charlie's later. Cheerio, Wendy.
I was speaking to Barbara. She said there were some irregularities about Mary's morphine.
Good grief. Those are private medical records. Barbara should know better than to be discussing that sort of thing with you. If Dr. Wade finds out, he'll have no choice but to suspend her. Damn it, Wendy! Your brother is grieving. Mary was sick for a long time, and I'm glad it's over for her. Go and support Frank. He needs you now.
God knows what you did. He sees. I just pray can overlook Mary's weakness, but you, a man of the cloth,
if you have an issue with...
bring shame on this parish.
If you have an issue with me, I suggest you write to the Bishop of the Diocese. I have parishioners to attend to. Excuse me.
This is a scene or a segment that I was always confused about a little bit. I didn't know exactly what she was accusing of the priest of. It almost sounded, or she was talking about morphine irregularities that were, someone's medicine was being tampered with. And it sounded like she was blaming Father Jeremy for these tampering irregularities. It's almost like he assisted her in a death. I'm not sure. So another theory about these light forces you're seeing right there. I said I believe that these light forces are the people themselves. I believe that one is Jeremy. We're gonna go. Chapter has a name. It's gonna be Jeremy, Wendy. There's gonna be Stephen, Kate, Liz, and one more that I can't think. Oh, Frank. And with each chapter you go in, you're gonna see these light beings change. So there's gonna be subtle changes. There's gonna be one obvious change, which is gonna be a light being in the Liz chapter. You're going to notice that there's a little baby light that's tagging along with it. And that's what led me to believe that with this chapter, you're going to see these light beings, those are actually them. Because Liz was pregnant with a child, which would explain the little baby light that you see in her chapter. Or Father Jeremy Wheeler. Wednesday morning. Okay. No, I forgot to go across. No, I did go across the bridge. I really don't think of one of those houses, though. So the light acts as a guide as well. You have to follow the light to an extent. It does act as a guide. It does show you where something is at. But one second.
What are you doing? I saw you doing that.
Stay away from me. Don't come near me.
This is people's property. You're scaring them.
It's all over the village. It's got into everything. It's so fast.
What are you talking about?
It's traveling down the wires.
Dear God, man, you've lost your mind. Where is Kate? What have you done with her?
Don't you understand? It's breaching the quarantine and adapting.
Give me that bloody can. Hand it over, Appleton.
No, get off.
No, Sam, stop it. You weedy little shit.
It's mine.
Give me the can.
I need it.
Grow up!
Oh, God, no. It's starting to manifest itself everywhere.
Stephen, come back.
Oh, Christ.
Okay, so now that sheds a little more light, now that I've seen it again. So, he was fighting. I don't know why Stephen was painting everything. He seemed to believe that it was going to somehow stop this entity from spreading. I mean, that's what I gathered. I don't know why he's painting everything. But as he dropped the paint, him and that guy were fighting over it, he dropped it, and you saw that out of it came the light. Stephen saw that, and it formed this butterfly-shaped look pattern, and that's when Stephen goes on to say that it's manifesting itself. So I heard him say that before. I didn't really catch what he was talking about, but now I see that it's manifesting itself. I don't know if he meant like it's as paint, or if it's just starting to like mimic things. When he says manifest itself, it could be this look, because you'll find throughout the game that Stephen and Kate are drawing pictures that look a lot like this. Looks like a butterfly. Time around I was missed a couple things. Alright. Right here.
Hello?
Right?
Hello? Amanda, I thought you'd left town.
We tried. We did try. But they've closed all the roads and we can't get through. And then Georgie and Ben said they had headaches. And then they started bleeding. It was horrible. They were so scared. So Neil turned the car around and we saw the house was open, and I know we shouldn't have, but we just came in to clean up the kids, and then Neil and I started bleeding as well, and it's all over my blouse. Everyone was so tired.
It's all right, Amanda. Everything will be all right. Just try and calm down and tell me where Neil and the children are.
They're upstairs.
They
were tired, and Neil said they could take a nap in the bed, and we thought Barbara wouldn't mind as they're only children, and I was so tired, so Neil took them up. He took them upstairs to tuck them in.
And?
That was 6 hours ago.
Yeah, they're dead.
Never came back down. Just be too frightened to go and look.
Why don't we go and look together? I can hold your hand if you like.
Yeah. I think I could manage that, yes. Please help me.
Of course I'll help you.
They all develop bloody noses.
Neil, are you there?
So we see here evidence that... Oh, that's sad. Looks like the girl drew pictures of butterflies. So throughout this game, the butterflies have a significance. I'm not sure what yet, but you can see that she drew them here. Maybe it's something she saw as she was being taken in, or I don't know. Really hard to say right now. But yeah, they developed bloody noses and eventually died as well. So my original theory was about the light is that once it gets inside you, that it was judging people, and it was one sec. I think it was deciding who was going to bleed out and who was just going to be taken painlessly. But now I'm thinking maybe that's not the case, because you have kids that were dying, and kids are a thing of innocence. They don't know any better, so I can't see why they would be judged wrong. So trying to figure out why. I'm still trying to figure out why some. I believe some didn't bleed out, and why others did. We're gonna walk to these houses over here. No, these houses are kind of interesting. There's something in one of these houses that was pretty peculiar. It's a book. Let me see if I can find it. No? There's Jeremy. Ah, there it is. Now here's the book that really got my attention. Picture butterfly, and it says, I Spy Butterfly, Chaos Theory. Professor J. Arthur. And the bold new, does it say mathematics? Yeah, bold new mathematics. I don't really know much about the chaos theory mathematic, as far as mathematics goes, but from what I understood is that the chaos theory is one thing affects the other. Hold on.
The magnetic field is causing disruptions to phone signals and the rest of the electrics. There are voices on the line. It's 4 a.m. Maybe everyone is up looking at the light show.
Okay. So yeah, the chaos theory, I'm not really 100%, is like, every action has a reaction, or equal or opposite reaction. So, question is, what does the chaos theory have to do with what's going on here? It has to do with butterflies. Why are people drawing pictures of butterflies everywhere? Here's another door. There's a door that Steven came along and painted a picture of a butterfly, drawing this symbol on there. Maybe this symbol is a way of keeping this thing away from them. Now, here's an interesting thing. I just thought of. In the book of Exodus, when the Hebrews were living in Egypt, there was a what is it called? Passover in Egypt, because Moses was telling the Pharaoh to let his people go, or he was going to suffer the wrath of God. But I think it was the 10 plagues he was going to suffer, and one of the last plagues that he had to suffer was the death of the firstborn son of the Egyptians. And in order for the Hebrews to make sure that the Holy Ghost didn't take their sons, they had to mark their doors with the blood of the goats, so they would get passed over. So that's what I'm thinking, maybe what Stephen in similarity was doing here. But I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out why he's marking the doors. I haven't figured that out yet, and why he's drawing pictures of a butterfly. Some people said it's an infinity sign. I think it's a butterfly because there's pictures of butterflies everywhere else.
You have to make a decision, Lizzie. Especially now.
But I do love him, Father. I love them both.
He's married. There are other people involved in this.
Oh, I hardly think that anyone's in the position to
Father
claim the
Jeremy
moral high ground.
and Liz.
Well, I take your point about Stephen and Robert, but I think Kate might see things differently.
Do you? I mean, she's not screwing anyone else, pardon my French, but she spends all day and night locked up in that observatory. Stephen says they barely see each other. That's hardly a marriage, is it?
So Kate was a workaholic. Kate is Stephen's wife, and this woman, Liz, I think, she was cheating with him. Stephen was having an affair with Liz, but Liz was like his first love from long ago, and since then he's married to Kate. But as you heard Liz, they hardly see each other. She's a workaholic. She's locked up in the observatory. Which is why some people were theorizing that that she was the alien herself. Because Stephen said stuff like her mind is beyond him. No one understands her but him. I'll say this much. There's a lot more of this story that's based on science fiction. They have biblical similarities, but it is different.
Visual and auditory distortions are becoming more frequent, along with mild convulsions to the left side, all of which support a preliminary diagnosis of intracranial hypertension, occurring as a result of a substantial and rapidly expanding tumor, originating, I believe, within the hypothalamus. Cognitive functions are currently unimpaired, aside from this crippling headache. Hemorrhaging is becoming more frequent, with darker clots passing through the nasal passages primarily. I believe I am dying.
So I just caught that. He said with bleeding through the nasal passage primarily, which means secondarily you're bleeding through other areas as well. Probably some of your eyes and your ears.
I see tiny flecks of what looks almost like, if I had to try and find a description, liquid light.
Liquid light.
I cannot explain this phenomenon.
So okay, so from what I know, not everybody bleeded out. This guy did. He was the town surgeon, the doctor. And in his final moments in this car, he describes how he saw in his arm he could see liquid light coursing through within him. And at that moment is when he was being what's the word they used? Disintegrated or converted into energy. So this is his medical facility, his practice. You can see all his clients were also developing the same symptoms. Everyone was reading their Bibles because they were feeling this is the end. Look at bloody nose, tissues everywhere.
Dr. Wade, here you are. There's a queue of patients a mile long out there.
Just send them to the village hall with the others, please, Bob.
Doctor, people are scared. Mrs. Gable just called me and said her husband's vanished. She was very frightened. She said there was blood coming out from his ears and his nose.
What the hell do you want me to do?
Yep.
Until they lift the quarantine, we're not going anywhere. Just tell them to drink plenty of fluids, stay warm, and follow the instructions on the radio.
Dr. Phil, please, you have a duty to your patient. knows?
This is right. Yeah. He started bleeding right here in this desk, and that's when he went to his car, and he's like, "Screw it. I'll make a last-minute recording. I'm done." Okay. I believe that's everybody that I've visited. I'm gonna have to go back to the church pretty soon. So here we have more evidence of Stephen tagging. And you can see within this scribble, he did draw a picture of the butterfly upside down and kind of right there. It almost looks like he's drawing mathematical equations, kind of. I see 2m. Really don't know where he was going with that. Like I said, I theorize that he's marking places where he's trying to have this entity pass over. I don't think I've been in here before, so let's see. Ah. Number 8. I think I hear someone walking out in the beyond my door. 6, 8. Okay. I'm gonna go up here to the old tire mill. Auto repair. Yeah, 187, y'all.
Meg, come and have a look at this.
Oh, I don't believe it. Charlie?
Meg and Charlie.
Someone had been raiding all the empty houses. He said a load of stuff had been taken.
What's up?
It looks like someone's been collecting their own supplies.
Bastard.
Well, we've got enough stock in the warehouse to keep the entire village going for months.
We should get a truck.
What, and go and get all of it now?
Yeah, why not?
It's Appleton. It's that bloody crackpot, Stephen Appleton. I'm gonna fucking do him.
Sam, it's fine.
Stephen has been taking the paint
before the weather
cans.
turns. You come in. We'll swing by the camp and get Rachel on the way back.
So here shows us where Stephen got his paint cans to go tagging all over the town. My car weekly. Oh, look at these old cars. The new Hawking tested. Rob, don't forget when you're in town, can you pick me up some more bubblegum wrap and more paper paint? Paper paint? Please. Love you, Lizzie. Oh, okay. So, I guess Liz was married to Rob. I knew she was with someone else. I just didn't catch who. So, she's married to Rob, and Steven's married to Kate, and Liz and Steven are having a love affair. I guess because they used to be old loves before they were married, and for whatever reason they didn't work out, but now they're trying to make it work while they're married. Typical.
It wasn't just some distortion of physics. I may not understand it yet, but it wasn't an accident. All of the clocks, what happened at Tower 6, it's just not random. There's an effort. An attempt to communicate.
Okay, so even Kate right there in that broadcast is... seeing they're attempting to communicate. Actually, I think she's the only one that says that. She may be so blinded by her fascination with this phenomenon that she's just willfully giving herself to it, trying to make excuses for it so people won't try to shut it down. She wants whatever's happening to happen. She doesn't want Stephen to stop her.
Perhaps. They listen to you.
Well, I really don't see what it has to do with me at all.
The village looks up to you. I just think with what's been happening with Mr. Coles and Mrs. Boughton and the others, that people need somewhere to talk, to feel safe.
Perhaps they don't think that your church is somewhere they feel particularly safe.
I don't need your forgiveness, Wendy. Or theirs. Whosoever thou art that judgest, for wherein thou judgest another, thou condemnest thyself. Romans chapter 2, verse 1.
Beware of practicing your righteousness before other people in order to be seen by them. Matthew chapter 6, verse 1. It's not my judgment you should be worried about, Father. But fine. I'll talk to Barbara. Ask her to put a note up in the surgery about an extra service. Will that do?
Extra service for Matthew. I didn't really catch who Matthew was. Barbara is the surgeon's assistant, or secretary, what have you. Why is the father asking for this extra service? I don't know. He's asking Wendy to talk to the surgeon. So this is Wendy's house. Before I wasn't sure, but now I'm certain. It's funny, she keeps talking trash to Father Jeremy, and yet she lives right next door to him. And yet here we have evidence of her actually being a... Well, we already saw that she knows her scriptures very well. I just don't think she's particularly fond of Father Jeremy himself. She seems to think that he did something. I haven't really been able to catch what that something is. Even Father Jeremy seems to think that he did something wrong because she's saying, I don't need you to forgive me. Well, forgive you for what, Father? The only lead that I have to go on is that he was tampering with someone's meds. I think he was allowing someone who was sick to take more meds, more medication. Shoot. I missed something. Okay, now I'm gonna follow the light. The light is Father Jeremy, in case you guys didn't know. And the light does guide you to where you have to witness something before you go back to the church, which is where you'll see Father Jeremy in his final moment. And that thing is fast. I could have sworn I surveyed this area already. What did I miss? So this is where it gets kind of confusing. You follow this light, and then you go to where it's going, and then it takes off in another direction. So you're not trying to figure out where it wants you to go. No, it looks like it's going back to that town hall over there. No, I already went over there. Come on. Run up the hill. You can do it. I'm right an hour and 17 minutes into this thing. I was hoping to be done with Germany by hour 1. Oh yeah, there's some field action here, I think. Well, that's eerie. Seems like people got taken away while they were playing in the football game. So here we have yet another butterfly painting by Stephen. Something on the roof. I didn't even notice that before. What could that be? I mean, it seems like an oddly placed thing in the game. It's a frisbee. All right. I'm following you. Just lead the way, man. Come on. Where you go? That's Meg's house, and I've already been to Meg's house. I've already done the whole Meg segment. Where does that thing want me to go? Give way? It's starting to be too loud. Oh, please let this be it. I don't know why I had to go in circles just to get to this part. Yes, finally. Right? Oh, come on, man. God, I hate this thing. No. It's still too early. I'm not supposed to be here. God, I hate that entity. I'll check back here. I hadn't walked back here yet. I can't get back there. Nope, can't get back there. So I'm missing one sequence, and I don't know where it's at. I can't come back up here and see Father Jeremy walk up the stairs until I find that last sequence. And that light's not taking me to the right place. I'm gonna try this way. I've already been to this hire shop. I've already searched these houses. That cabin, I got the phone, cabin, RV. I guess I'll double check this house. Ah, finally. Found it.
I saw you from the main road. Not many people are moving around now.
I was looking for Dr. Wade.
Listen, Frank. I don't know what's happened, but your Stephen seems to think he's responsible.
I reckon he is.
He said, Kate's still up at the observatory, but the gates are locked. Frank, there's going to be a rescue soon, I'm sure of it. They'll send planes or something.
Well, they'll send planes, all right. This pattern is, we're in the center of it. Which means if they intend to stop it, we're right in the firing line.
Okay, so talking to Frank saying you're Steven. So it's kind of starting to make me think that Steven is Frank's son. I might have figured that out before, but I may have forgotten that fact. So what's Frank got going on here? I hear the church bells ringing, so now I can go back to the church, I think, and finally see Jeremy's end. See, so somebody bled out here. I wonder if it was Frank. I don't think it was, because there is a story of Frank later in the game, in which we see Frank die in a different way. But somebody walked out of this house bleeding. That's the practice. I've already been there. Okay, we're going back to see the Father Jeremy off. Finally be done with this chapter. There's an interesting thing about the clocks. You look at the church tower up there. It says 6 6:07-ish or 6:05, you'll notice that the clocks, any other clock you'll see in the town is set to the same time. And I believe that plays part into a recording that Kate had mentioned about how all the clocks and the computers had set themselves back to 1984 on a certain day and a certain time.
Hey, are you out there, you bastard?
Here we have Father Jeremy talking to the light, I think.
You got them all?
He took them all.
You got them all? Jesus Christ, help me, oh Lord. Give me strength. Hello? Hello, is anyone there? Is anyone still there?
Oh. You are still here, then? I should have expected that. Come on, then. Let's get this over and done with. I've got my parishioners to attend to.
And someone said if you look at Father Jeremy walking, you can kind of see that he's walking on a limp, which implies that he was using this crutch and, you know, dropped it before he walked in. Another thing to foreshadow an event later on in the Stephen chapter is if you look at this fire, this is actual how they make the fire look in the game. So later on you'll see a sequence with Stephen where you're going to see what looks like fire, and this gives evidence to that. Ah. This one was kind of difficult, I remember. There we go. Well. Got him.
Their line has gone out through all the earth, and their words to the end of the world. In them hath he set a tabernacle for the sun. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Oh God. Oh God.
And at that moment, we see Father Jeremy being disintegrated and taken into the light. Pretty eerie. You know, I'm starting to think maybe it was Father Jeremy who was bleeding. Because I saw a bunch of those pamphlets on the floor in front of that house, those blue pamphlets, and then those are the same pamphlets he had inside his church there. So maybe everyone did start to bleed. Stay on the path. Wendy. Okay. So you can see that the light kind of takes on a new characteristic. It's not the same as it was before. It wasn't calm. It wasn't so much like Jeremy, Father Jeremy. This new light seems to have a bit more spunk. You can see how it's a little more rapid. So this is Wendy. This is the energy of Wendy infused with some of the light being, the light entity. Hold on, Wendy. I don't want to pass anything up. So I think Wendy is the woman that Father Jeremy approached to ask the doctor if he can hold another service for someone. According to Father Jeremy, Wendy is the I don't know, like a town leader, elder that people look up to. Again, we got this butterfly. Another reason why I think the butterflies have a significance to the game, which I haven't figured out what, is at the end of the game, we also see butterflies flying around the observatory. And they're not just any ordinary butterflies, they're golden liquid light butterflies.
You do look ever so drawn this morning.
That bloody dog kept me awake. And there was that thing in the sky. The radio says it was an electrical storm, but I don't know what it was. This morning, I found some dead birds in the garden.
I'm sorry to hear that. I wonder if it might have had something to do with the atmospheric conditions.
Why, Stephen will probably know. I'll give him a call in a bit.
Wendy, I've popped around because we've had some incidents with some of the more elderly residents. Mrs. Bout has, well, vanished, for want of a better word. Wandered off somewhere, no doubt. I thought I'd best check and see you're all right.
The council are talking about a flu epidemic.
Yes, well, I'm not sure it's flu as such. But no headaches, nosebleeds, no joint pains or digestive issues?
Dr. Wade, I'm as fit as a fiddle. Go and find some real sick people to look after. And if you see that son of mine, tell him that his mother's looking for him.
Aha. Okay, so starting to piece some of the puzzles together. So Wendy, I believe, is the mother of Steven. I knew there was Steven's mother roaming around in the game. I just didn't have a name for it. Wendy is Steven's mother, and I believe Frank is Steven's father. Right now we're playing the chapter of Wendy, Steven's mother. We'll probably get into Frank on the next chapter, but I think I'm gonna leave it here for now and continue this game again tomorrow. I already finished this game once, but I'm only playing it again to get all the details that I missed, because I didn't know what I was supposed to be looking for when I started this game. I didn't really know, until about halfway through it. I was like, oh man, I should have been paying more attention. And so I can go back and listen to these memories again. Once you listen to it, it's over, and there's no playback or anything. So, only thing left to do is to play it again, or watch your broadcast. But it's more fun to play it again. She's a bird watcher. She's the bird watcher. Well, I guess I am making progress this time around as far as speed-wise. I think I was in over 2 hours at this point last time, so I saved about 20 minutes, maybe 25. Fire. I wonder what that means. Oh. Okay, so I didn't notice this before. It looks as though, what's his name? Steven drew a picture of a butterfly on this map, which tells me that I need to go over there to that house. Oh, whoa, he's got pictures of butterflies everywhere. I guess you just gotta follow the butterflies. Alright, well, I'm gonna leave it here for tonight. Tired, I'm gonna go to bed. I will continue Wendy tomorrow.